Okay, this is Tagg, the holistic artist with kissmyartsy.com, and I am here with Adam and Susie.
Souza. Yep.
Souza, I messed it up again.
It's all good.
I'm
People
so
do it all
sorry.
the time.
So,
I
Adam,
think like the musician John Philip Sousa, and then it just like will stick in your head. It just spelled different.
right, yeah. Well, we're Americans, we can't read anyway,
Yeah. I'm still convinced, like, because the original spelling of Sousa is with the Sousa, and I think like we came here from Portugal and said Sousa, and they were like, it's got to be a Z, and they just threw it in there.
Souza. Yeah, I like the spelling. It's creative. I do have to admit that. So, I mean, that it looks cool, online.
Yeah. My dad gave me a good name, just it flows nicely, and I've been introduced on panels and shows and all these different things, and it flows nice. So thanks to my mom and dad, mostly my dad, he picked it out.
Yes. Thank you, Dad. So, we're just going to have a conversation here. I just want to spread the word of alternative methods of holistic care. And my goal is to have uh, a new practitioner every week, but with stuff going on in life, it is what it is. So I am just so grateful that you're able to make it today. And so let everybody know a little bit about yourself. What type of holistic uh, practice do you do?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm 35, born and raised in Massachusetts. I've lived in other places, which I'm sure we'll talk about. Uh, my holistic practitionership is based on gut health. So that's my whole niche. It's what I'm really focused on. There are other things, I have skill in and know about, but as far as gut health, I've had to come a long way myself from somebody who ate the standard American diet, McDonald's, Mountain Dew, not energy drinks, like on the day. Just what I was eating. So naturally, you get stomach issues from that.
Yeah.
So my journey has, fortunately for everybody else that suffers from it, taught me a lot about gut health, and now I get to pass that on to everybody else with urban healing. So I'm very, very excited. I think I'm getting launched this. I'm not. No, I don't think I am getting launched this month. Having the baby set me back. I planned to do it at the end of June, but I had a project. I had to like build a pool because I'm gonna be summer. I needed something to do with my daughter, and so I just had this hunch. My fiance is like, "Why are you rushing? Why are you stressing?" I'm like, "I just feel like the baby's coming. I have to get it done." I got wrapped up in that, and then boom, baby's here, and then it's just you're in the baby bubble for a couple of weeks, which is awesome.
Right. Congratulations.
Thank you. It's been awesome. It's my third child, so it's funny how different every experience is, especially birth. Birth is such a beautiful, chaotic, messy, amazing thing that like it's just, oh my god, to be blessed to even see childbirth 3 times and actually get to like deliver my child this time and do all. So it was a whole different experience with the home birth, and yeah.
Did you use a doula this time?
We didn't have doulas, but we kind of did, right? So we had 2 midwives, and then our friend who is a doula now, but a midwife in training. So we had technically 3 midwives, and then myself, just helping through everything. And it was crazy, like it's amazing to see like the feminine energy, because it was just, 3 midwives, my fiance, my daughter, and my girl's mom. So it's just all women and me, and I'm just like, I gotta be in, like, I cried more than my fiance did that day. Like I was just like, oh, I gotta go check the pool filter and then go outside and cry a little bit, and then come back inside and like come back and be strong for her. I guide her through it. It was just a intense experience. The feminine energy is so real.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about it. It is. So, there was something it just went poof. I had a question to ask you about the birth. Oh, was it a home birth?
It was, yes. Yep.
Nice.
So that
And
was so different too. It's just like I remember the days leading up. Like once her due date was, well, I call it a guest date because the due date puts too much unnecessary pressure on women, I think, and then forces them to induce, and then they go into the business of birth, and they end up getting C-section and all this type of stuff. But getting to experience the home birth was just so much different. Being at home, instead of, I felt like with our first child, and probably with a lot of women, I would imagine, your water breaks or you start having intense contractions tight together, and it's time. You have to go to the hospital. So what happens when anybody goes to the hospital, knows they're going to the hospital? They tense up, so like slows down birth and everything. So this time it's just like she's like woke up, oh shit, my water broke. I was like, okay, I guess I'm calling on work today. And then just being with her and breathing through everything, and um, yeah, I gained a whole new. Not that I didn't respect and love my fiance dearly, but just a whole nother level of respect and love for her.
right. I think that is so important. Make sure that dad's witnessing everything. I think that's great.
Yeah,
It's just
like, you're lucky I'm not squeamish. You're lucky that it doesn't bother me and I can stay calm when things go wrong. And like, it's. I mean, it's been a lot of practice to get there, but it's. I feel like no matter what I'm doing, supporting her in birth, it's nothing compared to what she's doing. So like, I just broke my collarbone. She's literally hanging off my left arm as I'm like pushing her back into the tub, and I'm not lifting more than 5 pounds. I have her entire body. I'm just. It's killing me. I just keep thinking to myself, like, this doesn't hurt nearly what she's going through,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh, how long was the delivery? How long did?
So her water broke at like 8 o'clock. I went upstairs to actually say bye for the. I was like, hey, I'm about to leave. Do you want to come downstairs to my daughter? And then she got up and she's like, I think and the baby came at 11:56 that night, so it was like 15 hours or so.
15. Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah. It was quicker than last. Actually, no, last time was way quicker. Now that I think about it, she had contractions like the whole weekend leading into my daughter's birth, so it was like days of labor.
Yeah, that's cool. And so, what name did you,
Oh, his name is Jonah.
Jonah?
So it's dedicated to her friend Jason. So he passed away in 2012. I never got to meet him. But in 2013, I became friends with this guy, one of my best friends, Ryan, and he's friends with a guy named Jeff, who's Jason's brother.
Yeah.
So, they went to his grave one year and like, do you want to come? I'm like, I didn't know Jason. They're like, he would have loved you. Like, it doesn't matter. Just come with us. So I went to his grave, and then the following February, they were celebrating his birthday. We were 24, 25 years old. So we're going out clubbing, and I met my fiance there. So like, we met her because of Jason. So she has a dove tattooed on her in memory of Jason, and Jonah means the dove. So it was like a dedication to him.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I love hearing how people met and how names evolve and come about and stuff. Because names are important.
Mm-hmm.
They really are. They carry so much spiritual meaning. So, very important. Very important. Yeah, my kids' names are very unique. I named them after their personalities, so I was very aware of who they were in the womb. So,
I remember when we were searching for my daughter's name. Her name is Nia, and it literally means purpose.
yes.
My fiance, we were searching so long for names. Like, we would come up with names, nah, and then one day just drove by like a sign. I think it was during Christmas time, and it was like there was Christmas signs, there was Hanukkah signs, there was Kwanzaa signs, and I guess it's like Swahili or something like that Nia means purpose. So it was like just randomly driving downtown through our city, and she saw the name and was like, that's her name, like that's Nia.
Yes. It's funny that you mentioned Nia, because my sister's name is Nia, and I named her Nia. Yeah.
That is wild, because my daughter's 6.5. I've never met anybody with the same name yet.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's really
Nia. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Small world. Yeah. Her name is Nia. Yeah.
Too. My fiance. Remember I said that I went to Jason's grave with my friends. She wasn't there. She wasn't there with us. But dating and talking. The picture came up in like a Facebook memory one year, and I was like, "Wait, you were there that night? We were there like this. Look at this picture." She's like, "What?" She's like, "Oh, our friend got too drunk and threw up right there. Like she saw it in the picture." I was like, "There's no way you were at his grave like half hour before we were there. Like I almost met you that night."
Wow. Wow. That's destiny right there.
Seriously.
Yeah. And you were bound to meet. Yeah. So anyway, let's get back on topic.
Sorry.
I love your story. I mean, we could go on and on, just talking, getting to know each other better, and the family and stuff. But it's an hour show, so yeah.
Rogan podcast where it's like 3 hours.
One day I hope to be that long. I'm inspiring to be that long.
Gotta do it. Gotta keep talking, because you got plenty to talk about. You're a very wise person. Like you have a lot of insight, and like I think podcasters so much, we want to limit ourselves like 30 to 45 minutes. I want to be respectful of your time. Like that's really why you're doing it. Most people, when realistically, like if you let the conversation flow, when I was podcasting heavy, and when I need to get back into it. This is why I love doing, other people's shows, but I would naturally let conversations flow for 2-3 hours sometimes. And sometimes not, sometimes I'd have those hour and 15-minute shows. It just didn't flow the same way. And you have to know, as a host, you'll learn this, when to cut off, like passively. You're like, okay, this conversation's really dwindling down. I don't have much left to say. Let me get out of this. But the biggest thing I say to podcasts just starting out is like, don't limit your time, say we're going to have a conversation. I'll respect your time. If you have any time limitations, let me know in advance. But I really want to dig deep,
Right. It's funny that you mentioned that, because I feel as though the conversation is better when you forget that the camera is on or the recording is going, because you just start to reveal more and more, and things just start to unravel naturally.
Yeah.
So.
And that's what I mean. Like, is when you're thinking about a time limit, like you're looking now and you're like 9:20, it's an hour show. Like we're 20 minutes in and we haven't even talked about holistic practitionership. But like, imagine just don't look at the clock, and we just have a conversation, and then all of a sudden when you look at the clock, it's gonna be 10:30, and you're gonna be like, oh my god.
Where did the time go? Yeah, I want the notice sign to go up. You are past the time. That's what I want to happen. One of these days, it's gonna happen. So, anyway, I know that we touched a little bit on the American Standard Diet and how it just really just damages the body. But what inspired you to begin your journey as a holistic practitioner? You've been a practitioner for a while, though, right?
Yeah, in a way, like I work in sales, and we probably have like 30 people that work there, and word gets around. I help one people like with some diet advice, and I help this person. Like I'm I want to say, I don't know. It is what it is. I silently am judging what people are eating as I'm walking by, and I'm like, oh, you were just complaining about hormonal issues. Like in my head, I'm like, you're just complaining about hormonal issues. Like, oh, you eating Doritos, like,
Mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm.
like sometimes people will be like, oh, I'll see people. I started just like planting seeds, and all of a sudden I'll see people eating like, a salad and some chicken thing, and I'm like, oh, you make that? Like, yeah, I've been trying to eat more salads. I've been doing this. It's like, oh, that's good. Keep it up. Why don't you try this too? Like, just
Mm-hmm.
sprinkle in one more thing for him. My friend Brian, he was over 300 pounds, and he's about 6 foot tall, so he was very, very big.
Right.
And he is now 195 pounds. He's getting
Wow.
back for the first time in his life.
Yeah.
Uh, and it's not all because of me at all. But like I've really hold him accountable. Um, he's
Mm-hmm.
he's my gay best friend, and we're like really blunt with each other. You know what I mean? We're both Pisces, like very similar personalities, and I just took him to the gym one day, and I'm like, you're not doing the right things. What do you mean I'm not doing the right things? I'm doing the right. I'm like, well, stop getting sassy with me and just listen. Like, I would go back and forth. I made him a whole workout plan, and he was like,
Right.
I'm not doing any of this. I said, that's my point, my brother. Like, you need to
Yeah.
be doing this. Like, you want to lose weight and maintain losing weight. You need to start lifting weights, buddy. Like, you can't just keep hitting the elliptical for an hour and a half, which is impressive as hell, by the way. But like, you need to lift weights too.
Right. Yeah. 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 Because all that cardio just makes you a smaller you, it
Not
would.
only that, but cardio, once you get to a certain point, can actually be like counterproductive, right? So it's the
Mm-hmm.
same thing as so many people that I talk to just in trying to get clients and intaking people. Almost none of them are eating enough.
Right.
And what happens is, I've gotten a lot of women clients that complain that they're bloated all the time and they can't lose belly
Mm-hmm.
fat. And yes, some of that is hormonal, but part of your hormonal balance is giving your body the right nutrition and nutrients
Right.
and minerals and all that kind of stuff. And if you're not eating, your body goes into panic mode and starts
Mm-hmm.
saving body fat.
Yeah.
So, like the whole low fad diet is such a scam.
It
You
is.
you should be eating high healthy fats in order to
Right.
lose fat. It's like
Yes. Yes. Oh, yes. I was really good friends with this home healthcare nurse. And she was trying to lose weight and stuff because she wanted to compete in a uh, pole competition. And I'm like, you really got to up your fats. You'll it'll change everything very quickly. The I don't want to call it fat, but that's basically what it is. It's going to melt off just just like that. And with especially with women, they got to intake more fat than what is recommended because you're female, your body is made to deliver another person. And so she looked at me like I had three heads, and I'm like, you're a nurse. You know what I mean? You know this. You should know this.
mm,
But yeah, a lot of people just don't understand that. But if you eat the whole food, it is the whole food. It's we're organic beings. The food is identical to us, the whole food. Not packaged food, which is basically um, chemicals, and it's unstable. So the body doesn't know what to do with it, so it sticks it here, it sticks it there, sticks it here and stuff. And so you know but then there's people who do very well on that kind of diet, hands down to them. But when you think about the present time, you shouldn't be feeling exhausted and tired and broken and sore and hurting. If you happen to live a long life, that's great. Kudos for you. But we're talking about this moment right now. This is the only time that it really matters is right now. All the allergies and the mucus and stuff like that. I mean, you shouldn't be feeling that when your body is hydrated and regulated from, the plants and herbs and fruits and vegetables that you should digest. So, yeah, I mean, I can go on and on about this, but it's not about me. It's about you.
Well, that is the problem too, right? Like, I come from really like farming and cannabis. Like, that's really what is and was my passion for a very long time. And the more I got into farming and carbon sequestration, you realize that the way that they're farming, monocropping, growing the same exact crop on the same exact land, the same exact way every single year, is depleting the soil of all the minerals that it would be uptaking. So our food then has less minerals and more empty calories in it. And it's just such a backwards system. Like, we are within a couple decades of running out of topsoil if we keep farming the way that we're farming. And regenerative farms are proving that it can be done at scale. Just takes a little more work and a little more care, but the end product is way better for you. And it's just there's so many issues, systemic issues going on right now, where if you're not growing your own food, which isn't really feasible for 90% of people, 95% of people, there's no way to actually control what you're putting into your body fully.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree. Once you control the food, you can control the man, Not
And
a good thing.
even that, if you really dig deep, because I like to dig down rabbit holes sometimes, and pretty much all 95% plus of the seed storage is owned by Monsanto.
Yeah.
So they have basically genetically modified everything. Like, if you look at, for instance, my fiance has a gluten intolerance. What is a gluten intolerance? Why did that just start popping up in America? Well, when you start genetically modifying things over and over and over to produce bulkier and bulkier and bulkier and bulkier wheats, you're going to get higher contents of gluten in there too.
Right.
Yay! And now we all have gluten intolerances. That's why people can go to Italy and eat pasta all they want over there and be perfectly fine.
Yes. Be perfectly fine. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, don't get me started on that. I mean, there's so much greenwashing going on. I mean, it's just, I made the mistake today and I turned on the news and I know, right? And they were talking about the farmers in Texas that, crops are rotting in the ground. But as a farmer, that that's also a good thing too, because it's adding that layer of topsoil that we actually need for a delicious harvest,
Give it a break. Let it soak up nutrients naturally.
Right, naturally. Yeah, yeah. But the news, it just makes it worse than what it actually is. So
And then when you realize that hemp is one of the easiest plants to grow and one of the best, actually, if not the best carbon sequestration plant, better than trees per acre. It
yeah,
it sequesters so much more carbon than trees because you can get 4 grows in a year. So in
yeah.
that acre, you're getting so much more, and it's a truly incredible material. You can make hempcrete out of it. You can make hemp lumber. You can make T-shirts and all the clothes, everything. You make sails. The word canvas is literally derived from the word cannabis. Like,
Yes.
people don't even. I literally spoke on the state house steps in Massachusetts when we were fighting to like legalize hemp, and just broke down a history that in the 1800s you would literally go to jail if you did not.
Not. Right. Yeah. It's a requirement. Yeah.
Like, I've tried to pitch. For instance, I live in Taunton, Massachusetts. There's a dump here that's a landfill that's been shut down because it's leaking PFAS, polyfluoroalkyl substances, into our water, and so they're shutting it down. And their brilliant plan, is to build this gasification plant where it turns all the PFAS into some other material that gets put into concrete. So we're just gonna forever put it there. And I said, wait a second, because I got to connect to the mayor. I literally got to hand a 20-page proposal to the mayor. I said, you should really look at what hemp is doing in places like Australia, where they're able to research it, and they're showing that the hemp plant is literally soaking up and getting rid of the PFAS, and then not testing for PFAS in the material. And they're like, how's that happening? Who knows? It's just gone. It's remediating the soil completely. And then in water treatments too, you said that the wastewater is no good. Okay, let's set up a platform over the wastewater where we grow some hemp and have the roots reach down. It's not going to be super happy, you know, they're going to die quick because they're going to pull up a lot of toxins, but let's grind up the hemp and put it in the wastewater and soak it up, and like let's do all these things, filter it through hemp. And they shut it down because it's not making any money for them. They would have to pay, hundreds of thousands of dollars to do it, when the Aries gasification plant is paying them millions of dollars to do it. And that's what the answer is.
That is so sad because, I know money is what contributes to our lifestyle. However, it is not everything. You can't eat it, that's really sad. I do, plants filter organically, and I always, and I'm going to start growing it because I just usually buy the chamomile from Mountain Rose. Is it? Yeah, Mountain Rose.
Yep.
Yeah. I usually buy it from there because it's, it's well, anyway. But I usually use chamomile in the dishes that I make, just so it filters water, it structures the water, calms the digestive system, easy digestion. And also I add it to seasonings and stuff like that, just so it also calms the nervous system, so it can cycle through the body. But I always start off the morning with a big pot of chamomile because I add it to all the dishes throughout the day. And it really makes a difference, no more upset stomachs, no more indigestion. It helps filter through the kidneys where the bladder can eliminate, no pain. And I encourage this with, the women that I treat for menopause, that I've treated in the past for menopause. And I thought I'd just throw that out there just so people could start adding just a basic herb to calm the nervous system, calm the digestive system. And it doesn't make you sleepy because it's with a hearty substance that you're cooking. Like today I made kidney beans and rice, and I use chamomile as my base water, and I just add seasonings and spices to it. I like to say spices versus seasoning, because when I say seasoning, it's the onions, the green peppers, celery, the roux of the dish, and then you have your spices. So I just add it to that, and you're not gassy and things like that. So yeah.
I like that. I've never heard that before. Does it? So it doesn't give any kind of like distinct taste in it at all? You don't taste it really?
Nope. Not at all. Not at all. Yeah. And I have some picky eaters, I got my dogs turn up their nose at everything. So I feed it to them as well. And they're calm and mannered most of the time. I have one that's on guard all the time and constantly barks. But it just like it levels her out, and her levels are pretty much normal and manageable. So yeah.
That's really cool.
That's what I do. So anyway, back on topic. So now you had mentioned CBD, and I know this is just like a loaded word, and I loved your course on it when you shared your experience and stuff. Um, you know, that's one of the oldest medical herbs that you can incorporate in your diet. I think everybody should incorporate it simply not as a, well, also as a pain medicine management, but just also to relieve stress. Your
Yeah,
thoughts on that?
absolutely, absolutely. I mean, there's so many ways you can use cannabis without getting stoned. You know what I mean? Like you can use the CBD side where you're gonna fight inflammation everywhere in your body and help feed your endocannabinoid system. Most people don't even know that. Like our body literally has a system in our body called the endocannabinoid system. Cannabis is cannabinoids. Like that's what it could THC, CBG, CBD, CBN, like all the different cannabinoids that go in your body to help balance you out. You can take it that way. I also know people that juice the raw flower, and there's a lot of like different phytocannabinoids that are in there too. Different, what's the word for it? I can't think of it, but there's so many different nutrients inside of that. The seeds have a ton of protein, like per what the weight of what you're eating is. That's readily available to your body. So there's so much you can do with cannabis that is just kind of untapped. Not even talking about textiles.
Mm-hmm.
It truly is a miracle plant, and I've helped someone heal cancer from it. I've had friends that have helped people help heal cancer, and it's someday hopefully it's legal and we can see the full potential of research from it, because it's going to be amazing. That and mushrooms, I fully believe that magic mushrooms, psilocybin, is going to be something that changes the course of our country if we just get our head out of our asses a little bit.
Yeah, that's the problem. Yep.
Yeah, everybody, all these politicians, this is the problem. I'm not ageist whatsoever, but when you have 70, 80-year-old congressmen and women, they're so out of touch with what's going on. Think about, they were in their 20s 50 years ago, and they're hearing about reefer madness, and they're hearing about mushrooms are rotting people's brains and making them unalive themselves. It's like they're like got this thing in their head, and that's why the younger politicians are the ones that are bringing it in and being like, hey, I don't know if you've seen this, but there was a group of veterans that used psilocybin and cured their PTSD. Maybe we should look into this. Like
Right.
it's like it takes the changing of the new guard to kind of make stuff like that happen.
Yes. Yes. I mean, food in itself can be addicting, and what it's made up with, a drug, uh, chemicals that turn into drugs. So that's what I should say, because it's unstable. And we're talking about plants that are herbs, vegetables that are herbs.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
so many beneficial herbs too. I've been posting up on my Instagram stories, just cleaning up my yard. I like to have a nice clean yard, and I'm home for 8 weeks on paternity leave, so I just been cleaning up the yard, and I'm like, ooh, there's some nettle. Ooh, there's some, I just find all these things, and I'm like, I'm putting up these videos like, hey, when you're weeding, look out for these plants. You could have this, and it helps with inflammation. You can have that. It helps topically with pain. It's
Yeah.
it's I have some burdock growing, wild garlic growing. I have so many different things, not even counting what I already have growing for, like, veggies and maybe another type of plant.
Mhm.
It's just, it is amazing what plants can do for our body. I also, as somebody who started my nutrition journey being a vegetarian. I definitely do not recommend being vegetarian to people, but plants can definitely help fit in, especially to help get different nutrients and minerals that we can't get from what we're eating in the fruits and vegetables and meat that we're getting, as well as, you know, helping to fight off the symptoms of inflammation from our diet and things like that. So
Yeah.
it's no, just look around, download an app that you can look up plants and just go walk in the forest and just something you've seen a million times, scan it. And then after you scan it, go and Google the benefits of it.
Yeah.
And not everything's edible. Don't, I'm not saying eat everything that you see in the woods, but
Right.
so many edible herbs and things that you can really help with whatever you're going through, just out in the wild. I just picked up my daughter from her grandmother's house today. She was at the schoolyard, and I'm like, "Is that St. John's wort?" So I took out my plant app and I scanned it, and I said, "Oh crap, it is!" And I look in like a 75-yard, 100-yard fence line is covered in wort, and
Yep.
I'm like, okay, noted. I need to come back here with a trash bag and get all of this. Like,
Yes, because someone says send me some clippings too.
gladly. I know I gotta start growing. There's so many benefits to St. John's Wort. So that's what I mean though. Like I've chilled there, Tagg, hundreds of times with my daughter, sitting on this little brick wall, watching her play with her friends and things like that at the schoolyard. And I've never noticed it was there till today. She was like, "Daddy, look at these pretty flowers." She's the one who pointed it out to me, and I'm like, "Wow, way to, you know, not do what you preach to people, like not looking around for what's there, because this has been there the whole time."
Yeah. Nature's secret. It's
Uh-huh.
always been there. It's been there before the politics, before religion, before everything, society, communities. It's been there.
Yep.
It's been there. And yeah, it's we need to embrace it. That's all I gotta say. We gotta embrace it, and you know, um,
A shirt that says "In Mother Nature We Trust." That's exactly what it is, you know, like
yeah,
Mother Nature provides and gets rid of what it doesn't need. And
yeah,
it's a vicious thing, but you know, it's also very beautiful, and we should work with her, not against her.
not against her exactly, because she's always taken over. I mean, look at the buildings that are crumbling down, falling apart or abandoned and stuff. Nature always takes the earth and reclaim it, break it on down and stuff. So, yeah, I don't know why we're so invested in everything else but nature. And it's sad. It really is. Yes.
I'm
Yes.
so glad that touch grass has become like a popular phrase now, because now I just say it to people all the time that I'm like, no, like really, like go outside, be barefoot, get in the sun, touch grass. Like,
Yep.
it's all about it. Go touch grass, like you're gonna feel better.
Yep. You're going to feel better. Take those shoes off. The recycled rubber and, chemical process canvas, take those shoes off. Go step on the earth. Feel the earth, ground. It'll regulate your body temperature, especially for people who do suffer from heat and hot flashes, and also people who are just chronically cold nature. Go take your shoes off and let the ions of the earth feed through you. And, man, man. But yeah, you can tell what I'm passionate about.
That's why I really love Racially Rooted too, because they really encourage more than just, you know, making people change their diet. Like you
Right.
have to do things like get off the screen, go outside, touch grass. Like you have to
Mhm.
do these things no matter how much you work out and no matter how great your diet is. If you're not balancing yourself and grounding yourself into the earth, to restore and rebalance like your inner being, there's only so much you can do. Like it's just a
Mhm.
code. It's literally a cheat code. It's like
It is.
sauna for me. Like right here, I have a sauna,
Uh-huh.
and just that like guttural. You get in the sauna, and at least for me, maybe I'm a little bit psychotic with it, but I get to the point where my brain is telling me I'm gonna die if I stay in here any longer, and I'm like, you're not gonna die, dude. Like you've done this before at this exact temperature. You've done hotter. You've done longer. Like, shut up, And I come out of there, and the endorphins you feel, it feels as if I just smoked a joint or did some mushrooms, like slightly. It's
Mm-hmm.
amazing. Like you literally have these chemicals in your body that you can literally through breath work, through being outside
Yeah.
in the sun, can unlock it. Like, have you ever heard of Wim Hof breathing?
Is that through the one nostril and out, or?
No. So Wim Hof breathing. Wim Hof is the Iceman, is what they call him. So this guy will do his breathing technique and go hike a mountain with snow on it, with shorts on, shoes on, and that's it.
Oh, that guy. Yes, 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 yes,
So
yes.
his method, he has an app and everything, which I highly recommend to people. His method is to go breathe in all the way to your stomach,
Mm-hmm.
let it go. Breathe in, let it go. And you do that like 30 times. On the 30th one, you breathe in and suck your gut in and hold it and like push it to your head and hold it there as long as possible. On my kids' lives, I have held my breath for almost 4 minutes doing that.
Yeah.
I've never held my breath for longer than like 30 seconds without being like, oh my God, I'm going to die. 3 minutes and 46 seconds was the exact time. And in that time, I did 10 pull-ups without breathing.
Wow.
So and then you take it another level further. If you do it for 3 or 4 rounds, on the third or fourth round of doing it, after you release, after you hold it for 3 minutes, you breathe, you take a deep breath in,
Right.
and hold it for another 20 seconds, and you'll get a natural hit of DMT.
Yes, exactly. Yes, yes.
So your body creates fucking DMT. It's crazy.
Already, yes. And it's just through breathing.
Yes.
Exactly. I mean, I can go outdoors, do breath work, and come back in and feel like I am drunk, because my body has so much oxygen, and I'm just lighter, and relaxed and calm. And yes, yes, breath work is very important. I mean, we breathe the same air. Might as well enjoy it, you know. Yeah, if we weren't eating all those packaged foods, there would be more people out in the sun, outdoors, because they could tolerate the heat, because your herbs have, and breath work, it has its own natural sunscreen.
Oh,
And thermogenic, yeah. hmm A combination of two, of course, so yeah, all that stuff you're slathering all over your skin to stay younger, or sunscreen or whatever. No, you need to uh, up the intake of the earth. That's what you need. I'm telling you.
I
Yeah.
I had like a practice intake with somebody who was an esthetician and wouldn't listen to anything I was saying. Like she said she went to the beach and didn't go swimming, but she's having these skin issues. I'm like, oh, get in the water. Like that's great for your skin. The ocean's not good for your skin. It's harsh. It's this, is that. Like all this stuff she was taught in like esthetician school, and I'm like, okay. Like I'm not gonna argue with you, but all right. Like she's like, yeah, I kept the sun off of me. I made sure to put SPF like 30 on. I'm like, okay. Like you're just telling me you're having hormonal issues. You could probably use some vitamin D, but all right.
Right. Yeah. I'm not going to argue with you. It's like, okay, you do you, but you're complaining about this, this, and this, and this. I can help you, or suffer. I get the same thing. Want to argue against what you're trying to recommend, but what they teach in the schools is completely different than what Mother Nature teaches, and it shows. It shows. So you had mentioned, um, you do gut health. You went through your own personal experience of healing yourself. What was that like? Would you like to share some of the issues that you were having?
Yeah, I mean, I recognized it pretty young, probably when I was 17 or 18. I had migraines for that point at like for like 4 years straight, pretty much every day. Excedrin migraine was like candy to me. I would have 2 to 8 of them a day. So not only, acetaminophen, Tylenol, and aspirin, but like a cup of coffee every single pill, and I'm taking 2 to 6 of them on
Mm-hmm.
top of drinking, energy drinks and Mountain Dew and coffees made extra and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I was like 18 and I went to a neurologist and they found a cyst in my brain. And
Mm-hmm.
luckily it's like benign, nothing's wrong, but he was like, it's your diet that's doing it. And I was like, no. But I knew, like I kind of knew. At that point, I was really stubborn and just kind of like left my parents' house young and didn't have a lot of money. So I really survived on McDoubles and things like that, just trying to get by. But then at the same token, I was buying a bunch of Mountain Dews and things like that every day. So looking back on it now, I'm like, oh, I could have just put my money to better things, right? You don't think about that when you're young. So like I said earlier, around 25, 26 actually, I turned vegetarian,
Mm-hmm.
and just because it was like I wanted to cut out Mountain Dew, right? So I started drinking Snapple Apple, and then you are getting more used to reading labels, and then you read the Snapple Apple label and realize it's not any better than the Mountain Dew. So
Right.
then you switch into water, and then you're doing research, and this water has lead in it. This water is this, so you want reverse osmosis with minerals in it. So I'm like, okay, buying this expensive water, and then it was like, well, probably shouldn't be eating Arby's and McDonald's all the time either, right? And I was like, you know what, screw it. Like, I'm just gonna stop eating meat too. And I just cut everything. I went like super extreme. I was vegetarian for probably 7 or 8 years. And naturally, like right now, I'm small because I'm recovering from my injury. I've kind of deflated and I'm 170 pounds. I was 132 pounds when I was a vegetarian. And the wake up call for me, because I was being too stubborn, set in my ways. I didn't want to get out of being vegetarian because like it just became almost like an identity for me. Like everybody was
Right.
like, "Oh, he's vegetarian. We gotta give him something different to eat." Oh,
Mm-hmm.
sauce is probably gonna be vegetarian. Like it just kind of was like, it was just like, "Oh, I'm not. This is it. I'm just gonna stick with this." It wasn't until I started almost having like menopause symptoms. I was
Mm-hmm.
having hot flashes, mood swings, not sleeping, like all these weird symptoms. And I'm like, what the hell is this? So, the phones being what they are, and maybe I was talking to a friend about it. All of a sudden I get these ads for testing your hormones.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, well, what do I got to lose? So I did a blood test and my testosterone was like 250, and I think it's supposed to be 800 to 1,000 for somebody my age. So my testosterone was low. I was like, okay. I started doing testosterone injections,
Mm-hmm.
and it made my testosterone go back to where it's supposed to be. So I
Mm-hmm.
kept doing that for probably a year and a half, and then I got into a really bad car accident. I got T-boned going like 40 miles an hour, and
Mm-hmm.
my next blood test, my testosterone was back to 250, even on injections, and it was really like a practice what you preach moment, because I don't really like pharmaceuticals, but having my hormones that low, I was just like, I want the quick fix, right?
Yeah.
Well, now the quick fix isn't working,
Mm-hmm.
because the doctor I was working with told me this. He was a very good doctor. Like that's probably part of the reason I kept doing it so long, because I was like, okay, he's receptive. He's letting me, he had me on an estrogen blocker, and I stopped taking that because there's like high cancer rates with people that take it. And he's like, all right, well, just monitor, make sure you're not getting any gyno in your nipple area. Like, make sure you're monitoring that.
Mm-hmm.
So he had told me, because of my concussion from the car accident, it basically shuts down my testes and
Mm-hmm.
stops them from producing sperm, stops me from producing testosterone, because my brain
Mm-hmm.
is trying to survive.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, why am I taking these injections? So then I
Yeah.
started looking into herbs for it, Fedosia, agrestis, and things like that. And I was like, ashwagandha. I took 3 different supplements. Tongani was the other one. And all of a sudden, I I didn't tell this doctor I stopped doing the injections, but I just started taking these supplements, and it went up to like 500. And I was like,
Yeah.
Okay, what if I start eating meat again? And like maybe my body is nutrient deficient because, you know, as I start working out and things heavily again, I was like, I'm not getting nearly enough protein, and it's plant protein, so it's not even processing all the way in my body. I'm not keeping all of that protein. So
Yeah.
I'm like protein deficient and Lord knows what else. And at least, you know, all the vitamins that are in steak and things like that that you can't really get from plants. Uh, so I started eating meat again. All of a sudden, we're back up at like 900. And I told the doctor, it was like 3 months in, I was like, hey, just want to let you know I haven't been doing my injections. I don't know if I really even need to keep seeing you anymore. He's like, like your levels were perfect. I said, yeah, I started taking X, Y, and Z. I started eating meat again. He's like, oh, I can tell like you've gained some healthy weight, like you look good. He's like, all right, well, need me again. You know, like I'm only a phone call away. And he just like let me do my thing. And from there, it was just like, what else can I heal my body with herbs? You know, the same way I had identified as being a vegetarian, I had identified to people that I have IBS. There's nothing I can do about it. I have IBS. Stomach hurts from stuff I eat. Don't know why. When really, yes, like when I really sit down and thought about my diet, I'm like, well, XYZ hurts my belly the most. Let's cut that out. Oh, my belly's not hurting anymore. That's weird. You know, and it's like I thought I had things kind of under control, and then I was having little flare-ups right before I injured myself when I was in the hospital, and then all the pharmaceuticals and the antibiotics I was on just messed me up. I had like weeks straight of flare-ups, and they put me on pantoprazole, and I took it because of my injury. I was agonizing pain with my broken collarbone, and already taking painkillers for that weren't really touching it. And I was like, I just need to do something to bring my stomach issues down.
Right.
Right before my accident, I had taken the course on making on different concoctions and stuff. Right? One of them was an oxymel. I had never made an oxymel. Even when I saw the course, I was like, why would I make an oxymel? Like, there's so many other things I could do better than an oxymel. Like, I just didn't understand it. So I came home from the hospital, and what do you think the first thing I did was? I made an oxymel and let it sit for probably, I made one with powder so I could let it sit and it would, you know, be available quicker than letting it steep in the herbs. And I waited about a week. I let it sit. I stirred it every day. And then I stopped taking the pantoprazole cold after like 2 weeks of it and just started taking the oxymel. And now I take it every single morning, half a tablespoon with a warm glass of water first thing in the morning. The mornings that I do not do that, it'll be like lunchtime, and I'm like, ooh, why's my stomach hurt? Oh, I didn't take my oxymel today. I'll go pop that down. I'm feeling better. So I put marshmallow root, slippery elm, ginger, and then apple cider vinegar and raw honey. And just that combination is like what I needed for my body to kind of coat it from, you know, anything that could possibly be hurting it, get the stuff that was hurting it out of me quicker. So it's been a long journey, and I feel like everything that I learned about myself and the little tidbits I would give people over the years culminated when I found the Ritually Rooted course. It was like, okay, now I have like a guidance towards everything I've been learning. And, you know, admittedly, 60 to 75% of what they went over is stuff I knew. But that made me feel good. You know, it was like, okay, I'm not starting off fresh. I really am on the right path here. I was able to pick up some extra things, all the Ayurvedic healing. I love, you know, describing people's conditions as dry and wet and things like that. It just makes so much sense now.
Makes complete sense.
It was the connector for everything, right? So now it's like I'm getting through this course. I start talking about it. I make my logo. I buy my domain. I get everything going, and then I start having like this imposter syndrome of like, are we sure? Are we sure we could do this, Adam? Like, I don't know. Then that was like one day I sat there after a week of inaction and was like, I just started typing a status. I was like, 10 people for free. I'm not going to make any money off of you. I'll give you your test at cost and everything if you get tests. I want to talk to 10 people to just as like a test. I'm 90%, 95% done with my business, and this is what I need to launch it. And got 10 people sign up. By the second call, I was like, I don't need to do any more of these 10 calls. I still did them. I've still given free value. A few people have gotten tests for that cost. And a couple people found some pretty concerning stuff. So, it led to good leads, but it just, it's that feeling again that I got when I had my CBD business really buzzing, and we were helping dozens of people a day, and just purposeful in my work, and not feeling bad about a single dollar that I'm making. And it just, oh my God, it lit me on fire again. It was like, and then the baby bubble happened. And the baby bubble, like, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go.
Yes. I can relate to all that. I can. And the fact that now we have tests that are so much easier now. I mean, it's a game changer. You can get people on track sooner than later. My program is a little bit longer because there's 4 seasons in a year. I didn't make up the rules. That's just the way it is. And so I like to keep the diet simple. But one of the things that I'm going to get my members doing from the very beginning is taking chicken and cooking it 3 ways, preparing it 3 ways: 1 fried, 1 boiled, and 1 baked. And not add any seasoning. No, just, right out of the package, washed, of course. And I want them to eat it so they can taste the difference of what they're eating, so they can apply those same herbs and spices to their fruits and their salads and stuff, so they can taste the herb itself without just pouring your hand and tasting it, and you just don't know what to do with it. But to get an idea of what they're eating, so then those that do eat for pleasure can start incorporating more whole foods in their diets, and the ones that eat for performance can see what eating for pleasure is, and really monitor their intake. So, to bring this back around full circle, I mostly ate because of, a pre-existing health condition where my body just failed. My nervous system was shot. And so eating the American standard diet, it was just, I felt like I needed to carry a shovel around, so I could just dig my own grave. I was just a little kid. So when I, started to go into remission over this autoimmune disease, I really started getting into athletics. And so I became an athlete, and I was just eating for performance, which limited my diet and caused some other damages. But it was correctable just by doing some critical thinking of how many calories and protein and iron that I'm taking, and of course supplementing. So after I had my kids and I'm working at a corporate job, I was at my worst, overweight, and I had always been painfully thin. But I was also having digestive problems, heart palpitations. I also had a benign tumor that came up later, ovarian cancer, endometriosis. I mean, my body was just breaking down, And so I had decided to do that phase where I just did the chicken plain, so it could re-trigger what my body and my mind had already knew that just wasn't syncing together, to remind myself, okay, I need to really cultivate and intake more herbs with this certain food group, and start really um, merging pleasure and performance of eating together to give me the healing and the stamina that I needed, just to focus on healing myself and curing myself. So, um, yeah, I really want to open the eyes of people who are suffering with chronic diseases and illnesses and mental fog, and that mental block that you have when it comes to food, how enjoyable it can be, um, as it nourishes your body like it's intended to, without the whole stereotype of, oh, you can only eat this, without limitations, but in more embodiment. So I'm glad we covered this. I really am. I'm really happy that we covered this. So during the time that you were healing yourself and your gut and your hormone level and stuff, um, would you say that that was like an overnight success, or just like a day by day process
It
that you
was,
embrace?
it was, it's still going. I guess I was vegetarian in 2016, so I probably started really thinking about what I was putting into my body more in 2015. So for the past 10 years, I've been trying to undo the damage of the prior 25 years. And there's days that it's not as good for sure. I have my days that even when I'm doing everything right, it'll get messed up, or I'll be doing everything right and then I deviate. And then as soon as I deviate, my body's messed up for a few days. And I'm like, why can't it's it you're so right about having to detach like a lot of the emotions from eating. Like some people emotional eat, and like I would eat fried chicken and things and I'm like, oh, it nourishes my soul so much. But my stomach is in knots right now. So like,
Yeah.
the mouth pleasure from it was it hit a certain limit where like the mouth pleasure wasn't better, wasn't more than the pain it was causing me. You know what I mean? So like
Mhm.
it really, I've had to really be more strict with my diet, not like a limitation thing, but like
Mhm.
I love spicy food. Again, my tongue, my palate loves spicy food. I love bitter food. Like that's just, it's my taste palate loves it. Spicy destroys my stomach. So, it's I'm sacrificing things that I really love for my mouth pleasure to make sure that the rest of my insides are good, because I know when that hot chili is hitting my mouth and I'm like, oh yes, but then I swallow and it's hitting my belly. I know it's causing inflammation that's going to be, you know, throughout my whole system now. When your stomach has inflammation, the rest of your body follows. I don't want to put my body in that fight or flight mode, and unfortunately I have to sacrifice things. Am I gonna be perfect? Never. I just had spicy chili yesterday, but I felt it. I was eating it, Tag, and I felt it. And my girl's like, "There's no way." I was like, "Babe, I've been really good with spicy food, and I'm feeling it right away." She's like, "Are you gonna stop eating it?" Hey, never gonna stop eating this.
Right? Yes.
But it's just like a treat, like I tell people that I work with, I'm like, listen, my goal is not to make you be militant with your diet and 100% on point all the time. That's miserable. I just want you at all points, even your worst point, to be at least 80% good in your diet. Will you have weeks where, especially women, when they go through the menstrual cycle, they tend to deviate off diets and things like that? I see my fiance, she's like, babe, can you get me a brownie? Like, okay, so it's okay to do that, but
Right.
just don't stay stuck in that cycle and then fix it afterwards so your body can, get back to the way it's supposed to be, even though, diet's very, 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 very important, especially on your menstrual cycle. But it's just okay to be human. I would say at majority of times I'm 95% good, but I have my times and days where I'm 80% good. And it's just okay. Am I going to go to a birthday party and not have a piece of cake?
Right.
Absolutely not. Absolutely
Exactly.
not. But am I going to go to a birthday every day just so I could have cake? No,
Yes. 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 I agree with you. Most of my diet is plant-based. But I do eat meat when I want to, when I feel my body craving it. I just listen to my body. But if someone is preparing a meal and they ask me, "Oh yeah, you're a vegetarian, right?" I don't like that word because it's so limiting. I'm just like, just cook what you normally cook. I want to enjoy, sharing space with you during this time. So don't feel as though, one, you can't invite me, two, that it has to be some special diet and stuff, because I can course correct at any time. I mean, what's more important at this particular time? It's only one meal. We're not talking about meal after meal after meal after meal. I get food cravings as well. I was telling Tracy just the other day, I'm like, I ate a whole pan of cornbread. I just wanted it, and I had I had the butter melted on it and stuff, and I ended up pairing it with this apple. I had made a spicy applesauce with it. Oh my god, it was so good. But what do you do? Do you ignore that craving and you consume everything, or do you solve the problem? You have what you're craving, but I don't use it as an excuse to just go hog wild all the time.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad you brought that up.
Yeah, we got to be human at the end of the day, right? Like it's just, you got to enjoy life, but you also have to keep your body in check so that way you can continue to enjoy life. Like that's
Right.
exactly what it is.
Yes. We govern the food. We don't let the food govern us. So I'm so glad you brought that up. So, what is the one thing that is misunderstood about our bodies, in your opinion, that you would like to share?
Huh, where do you begin? Um, I I really do think it is what I brought up earlier of like so many people think just not eating is going to solve all their fat loss issues. It's food is not your enemy. Food is your friend. You need, just the way we need to work with Mother Nature, we need to work with our food, because our food is supposed to come from Mother Nature. So it's kind of the same concept, but a lot of people just don't understand that, and they'll eat nothing all day and then eat 2,000 calories for dinner. And
Mhm.
your body is going into a panic mode when you do that. Like it's storing fat because it's like, yes, we have it. Let's go store this fat. And it's going to cause so many different issues. The other thing is water consumption. People like
Mhm.
the simplest things: eat food and consume water. And I can't tell you, I talked to somebody and they're having all these issues, and they say, I'm like, how much water do you drink? It's just a question you should ask everybody we work with, right? And she's like, oh, I drink like a half a bottle of water with my blood pressure stuff in the morning, and then that's it. I said,
Oh, wow.
what? Are you, huh? She's like, yeah, I have some coffee throughout the day, and then I have like body armors, and I'm like, okay, sucralose in the body armors, coffee's dehydrating you. Like, let's get more water in you. Like, I was like, you should probably be drinking 100 ounces of water a day, but let's start simple. I want you to drink 4 bottles of water a day with electrolytes in all 4. And this is how we're going to slowly introduce your body to more water. Like, and then we'll go from there when we follow up. So it'll be interesting to see if she followed through with that. I gave her the link to it, so hopefully, like it is amazing. Think about, just on a basic term, if you don't put oil in your vehicle will literally blow up.
Yeah.
Your body's the same way.
Right. It's going to blow up. Yes, exactly. It's going to fall apart. And I had this conversation with Crystal a couple of months back. When you're so severely dehydrated and, you go to the emergency room because you're walking around on your eyebrows by now, your body is just like shut down. Guess what they give you? Sugar water, an IV. You know what I mean? So if you would just stay on top of it, okay, so you can't drink plain water, add honey, add some brown sugar,
Yep.
add, natural sugar, add, what is it? The other sweetener, agave, add something to it. It's okay. If you just can't have a plain glass of water. I know I struggle with it. I mean, I add tea just about to everything, tell you the truth, but I'm hydrated most of the time.
That's the important part. Like, you have to be. I've admittedly struggled with my water too, which is why, like, I just drink my water. I have a rule where if you think about water, you gotta drink water. Like, that's just what it is. But
Right.
when I was, it's been about 16 weeks, actually, yeah, 16 weeks on Wednesday since my accident. And when you're working out, it's really, 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 really easy to get your water consumption in. When
Mhm.
you're sitting on the couch for weeks doing nothing but
Mhm.
being in pain and trying to heal, it is very hard to drink water. Like, it just is. I totally get it.
Yeah.
So, like, but you got to, like, just recognize that you're not getting enough. Like, there came to a point where I was like, okay, I'm taking my Oxymel. Why am I still hurting? How much water have I drank? Oh shit, this is full. It's 3 p.m. I filled this at 7. I haven't drank any
Yes.
water.
Yeah.
Like, it's just one of those things that's why whenever I think about water now, I drink it. It's just makes it so I'm drinking more water than I probably would in the first place. And then
Yeah.
now that I'm feeling better, I'm doing yard work and things like that. I'm sweating. I'm doing a type of workout. It's way easier to get water. Um, I found this really clean electrolytes that I really, really, really like, and
Mhm.
it's like it. I mix it down with. I put 16 ounces of water in it, and it's gone within 30 seconds. Like, I just right down, and my body just feels amazingly refreshed afterwards. So that's another thing, like a cheat code. You were mentioning cheat codes, tea and honey and agave. Just finding a good electrolyte, because
Yeah.
not only are you going to get the electrolytes from water
Mhm.
itself, but now you're going to get some extras,
Yeah.
which, especially in the summertime when we're sweating and electrolytes out, we could all use more.
Yeah. Even salt will do the
Yeah.
same thing.
Yeah.
Good salt. What do you give horses in the summertime? Salt blocks, cows, salt blocks. You know,
Yep.
so yeah, add shit to your water.
Sodium,
If you can.
like
Mhm.
magnesium and sodium, if you just get proper forms of that into your life, you'll notice a big difference. Like,
Yeah.
again, a lot of the people I talk to that aren't drinking water get Charlie horses, they're having cramps all the time. Like, yeah, like, not only is your body not hydrated with water, but the minerals from the water aren't getting to your muscles to make them feel hydrated and full of
Yes.
water.
Uh-huh. Air and water.
Air and water, baby. Air, sun.
Yeah.
we're,
Yeah.
we're just complicated plants, is all we are.
That's it. Walking, talking, complicated plants. You're so right. Yes. Yes, we are. So, you touched on hormonal health. Um, I had a dance partner, uh, too. One that I competed with, and then the other one, choreography. We worked on a lot of choreography together, and so one dance partner, he was on hormonal shots, um, him and his wife. And so, uh, well, there were some meltdowns going on there because it made him really emotional, you know, but he was a really big guy. So he would just, he would just take it, you know, people would comment about it. I mean, he was like 6'4", 6'5", and so what do you? How much teasing goes on, you know, when you see a grown man, you know, just completely boo-hooing because he could just punch your lights out. But anyway, and then I had another dance partner. We did choreography together, and he was completely dehydrated. He was so dehydrated, and you know, I tried to coach them both with their hormones. And so men tend to be a little bit more stubborn than women. Yeah, I hate to say that when it comes to um, their health. But the one that I did choreography with, he actually took my advice because he wanted to land an audition in New York. And I transformed him like within 90 days. It was that summer. He looked great, skin cleared up, no more sinus problems, no more brain fog, no more sweating, you know, or profusely sweating. No more of that. And so, you know, being a man, I had one dealing with testosterone, and the other one was just dealing with, like you said, it felt like you were on, like you were having a menopause. Um, you touched on both of those subjects, which brings me to my next question. So, just keeping those two things in mind, how did you like reconnect with your body? Because it's almost like a trauma. Do you do any type of spiritual work to help you reconnect with your body? Are you spiritual at all, or do you do practices and rituals that are routines that keep you?
I mean, a lot of my routine is based in physical. Like my mental is just better when I'm doing physical stuff, which is, you know, a lot of the case for a lot of men. Like it's just built into our DNA that like we want to provide, we want to build, we want to like do things for people. Um, so a lot of it is based in that, but a lot of it is, you know, I was steadily microdosing for a few years. I've kind of fallen off a little bit because I don't feel like I need it quite as much or often. But really, it made me like hyper aware of everything I've ever done in my life, ever.
Mhm,
Like
mhm,
there'd be nights that I had to learn to not microdose late in the day because it would just keep me awake the entire night. Like if I ate them past like 4 p.m., I'm not sleeping that night. Doesn't matter if I took a half a gram or a gram, like I'm not sleeping.
mhm,
And I would lay there at night and just be like, wow, that was a really shitty thing you did to Chris in second grade. You know, like, and you just start running through all these things you've ever done, and like, you thought
mhm,
the person screwed you over, but then you think about all the actions that led to before that, and it really humbled me as a man. You know, like, I gladly I would like to learn lessons every day, and that is one of the biggest ones I learned is just like, I I am the cause of so many things that I thought I wasn't.
mhm,
It's not like I'm beating up myself, but I'm being self-aware, which I think has also become like my superpower since then. Just like I've always been self-aware, but like I didn't hold myself accountable with my self-awareness, so it was useless. And it's easy to point out other people's faults because I'm so self-aware of my own. And
mhm,
if I'm never working on my own faults, how can I ever help somebody with their own faults?
mhm,
It's just kind of how I always looked at it. So I had to really rewire my brain with that. The Wim Hof breathing was a lot during that time too, uh,
mhm,
and just challenging myself to the utmost potential. You know, like I mentioned, I spoke on the state house steps. Like that was so uncomfortable for me. Like I performed and done music and all this stuff, but talking on the state house steps, like I'm me. Adam, the kid who allegedly has sold weed in his life, the kid who dropped out of college 3 times, the kid who, you know, like everybody said was going to be a loser and a nobody, is trying to get a law passed right now. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what is happening? And then I'm speaking on all these panels, and I'm like, they're like, "Do you want to do a panel?" Sure. You ever done one before? No.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Are you sure you want to do it? Yeah. Let's roll with it. And it was so funny. My old business partner would like get the questions ahead of time, prepare, do research, do yeah, that.
Mm-hmm.
I would just show up. They'd ask me a question, I would just answer from the heart. And
Yeah.
it was funny because listening back on these recorded sessions, you could really hear that I'm like speaking from my heart and soul and only really speaking on what I know, which, like, you know, thankfully the moderators ask you questions, you know, that are towards what you're doing. But it just, and then you hear his, well, what not? Like, just very rehearsed sounding, and like,
Yeah.
he practiced it in front of the mirror. And it was always funny when we did stuff like that because he's super prepared. And just don't need to do all that. But anyways, so it was just trying to rewire my brain to be like, I'm good enough. Yes, I've made mistakes. I'm going to continue to make mistakes, but now I need to be self-aware of them as they're happening. You know,
Right.
like a small example. My son, we have this like tire swing type of thing. It's a metal thing with canvas around it. And it swings from a tree. And my son swung it and smacked my daughter in the nose. And I yelled,
Oh.
"What's wrong with you? Why would you do that?" And then I came inside, like I made sure her nose wasn't broken, made sure she was good, and then I took my son aside and gave him a big hug. I was like, "I'm sorry, I shouldn't have yelled. I definitely shouldn't have said what is wrong with you. Like, it was really wrong with me." You know, like, whereas me as a father maybe wouldn't have done that. Like, prior to all this self-discovery of really like who I want to be as a man. You know, when you become a father or a mother, like, you know, the pressure is crushing.
Oh yeah.
You want to be a good parent. Like, the pressure is crushing. And if you are not hyper aware of everything you're doing and saying, they are picking up on every little micro and every little thing, and you don't even freaking realize it. Like,
Yes.
I didn't realize until my son was about 5. He was eating and kept wiping his hand on every bite. I'm like, "Why are you doing that, dude? That's kind of weird." And then I'm eating and I'm wiping my hands, and I'm eating and I'm wiping my hands. And I'm like, I do that? You know, it's just like you become super hyper aware of everything. And then like,
Yeah.
and then you see your kids doing stuff, and you're like, "Oh, I probably shouldn't have done that." It's like, that was
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm spiritual in that sense. Like, I do feel like in the past few years I've really like reconnected back to God, and and I'm not religious. I've never been religious. I'm not the church type. I don't want to be preached to. I just, in my heart, I feel like there is some sort of creator that created this. Like, it's just too perfect and beautiful, and it just, I just can't fathom that it was made from a random explosion. So it just, I don't know. I just, every day, the silliest little shit. Like, the first time I put on my shirt after having my accident, I cried and thank God. Like,
Yeah.
thank you. Like, my movement was so restricted that I couldn't do a normal thing like put my shirt on. Like, thank you so much. I don't know
Yeah.
why. Like, it just started happening. Like, I just started thanking God for everything that I did. And it's
Yeah.
it's weird. Like, it definitely, it's another one of those hyper aware things, right? It's like, if I'm gonna pray for good things to happen, when I'm doing bad things and bad things happen, shouldn't I expect that?
Right.
So it's like, you know, I when I pray for things, I like really manifest them into the action that I want to do. And then I'm like thinking about those prayers as like a self-awareness exercise of like, I prayed for this. Like, I can't do this. That's messing up. Like,
Mm-hmm.
even being so strict as to, we know social media is a very sexual place. Like, I've you know, as somebody who's unfortunately, like, I was molested as a kid, I struggled with a lot of like sexual abuse, and it really messed me up sexually throughout my life, and never even realized it And like, so everything, now that I'm fully aware of it, everything that's like meant to hypersexualize me, I'm
Mhm.
following. I'm like not reporting it, but saying, you know, like I don't want to see stuff like this anymore. And
Mhm.
as I'm doing that, I'm seeing less and less half naked women on my timeline and things like this.
Mhm.
Like, if I want to be, you know, not ever, being hypersexual, I don't want to be that way. So if I'm gonna
Mhm.
be that way, I gotta avoid the things that make me fall into that trap. You know,
Mhm. Right.
it's just that like that self awareness it's my guidance now. It's like we can't be self aware of something, Adam, and then not do something about it.
Mhm. Right. Yeah. It's like once you've been through that school of hard knocks, oof, yeah, you remember the lessons because they're so painful. And one thing that I've noticed with the group that we're in, I just love this group. Our stories are so much of the same. We're so similar in so many ways, but different. The same but different. um, it's just mad respect for everyone in the group, um, because it just, I can identify with your story, and everyone else from the group that hears your story can identify with it, and it just resonates because it's like if you were one time very underweight and you finally get to a weight that you love and enjoy, you don't want to go back to that. Just like when you're severely overweight and you lose weight, you're going to do everything that you possibly can to feel good and stay in that weight. And if you've ever been sick to the point where you have no life and you get healthy, you're going to want to stay that way. And so um yeah, I can totally resonate with you on everything that you say, because once you've been through that school of hard knocks, you become self-aware. And just like you, I'm not a religious fanatic. There are people that do very well with rules and regulations. I'm not one of them, so I don't try to be, that. But you know, I don't try to make those that do well in that arena to make them feel bad. I want to encourage everyone around me because I want them to be strong, because then we all win, you know. We all win. There's no judgment, but
Yeah, it's so important. Like I preach it, especially to other dads. I'm like, dude, like you're eating like shit. Like you're not exercising. You're gaining weight. Like you're not moving. Do you want to play with your grandkids?
yeah,
Like I wanna be 60, 70 years old, still able to kick a ball with my grandkids. Like
right.
that's what I'm building towards. Like it feels good in the now. Yeah, like it's great to have my health, but like I'm not doing it for 35. I'm doing it for 70, 80, 90. So I don't have
Mhm.
to be like my nana and suffer every day up until the day I die.
Yeah.
Like it's not what I want to do. And then hopefully my example, my kids see it too, and kind of
Hmm.
follow. That's the other thing I worry about with it is like, you know, I I, tr- I try to have the same philosophy with my kids. Like you can't be perfect, but like it's a slippery slope with kids. They taste this sugar and it gives them this like, and they want more
Yes.
of it. And it's so hard to control it without being that, like it's a fine line, right? Because kids are rebellious. I was,
Mhm.
and like you said, rules and regulations, like always been rebellious against them. So I know my kids are gonna do it. So I'm like, I don't want to limit them so much that they're like, oh, now I'm gonna eat McDonald's all the time just because I never get to have it. Like my daughter for her birthday this year, we let her do a yes day. So whatever she wanted to do within reason, without hurting anybody, we would say yes to. And
Mhm.
like, okay, I want McDonald's. She never had McDonald's in her life. She's 6.5. She was 6 years old on her birthday. I was like, okay. And she eventually chose Five Guys because that's like her guilty pleasure place. And I was, thank God. But I'm like, I almost want her to try it just to see that it's not going to be as good as Five Guys, and then hopefully she's turned off from her. Like, then there's the off chance that she likes it, and I'm like, but it's a struggle, not limiting them too much, letting them be their own person, but also making sure that I don't do to them what my parents did to me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, being a parent is a tough, thankless job at sometimes it can be. And I kind of view the health as being your parent, you know,
Mm.
and it never gets its due diligence, and it tries so hard to stay in balance, um so yeah, I can identify as being a parent. It wasn't easy. I cut up all the time. Very rebellious, always getting in trouble.
I,
But
I have cried so many times. Like I was always like, oh, I'm a dad. I'm not supposed to cry in front of my kids, and like there's been so many times it's happened. Like my son especially, because like when I pick him up, I only have him every other weekend, and his mom and I have never been together. It was just a hookup thing, and we have deep talks now. He's 11 years old, and I have to watch some of what I say. He asked me what happened with you and mommy, and I just say, like someday I will tell you. But as somebody whose parents were split up from a young age, I never want to make you think any way of your mother other than you love her so much. So I'm never going to talk bad about your mom. I'm never going to, tell you any bad things that may have happened. I talk about some of the bad things I've done, so that there's, because
you're human.
she'll throw things like, well, your daddy used to eat McDonald's all the time. I don't know why he talks. And I'm like, that was a long time ago. I haven't had McDonald's since 2015. So
Yeah.
it was a long, long time ago. And that's what I have to explain to him. So now I'm just like, you know what? I want my kids to know the man I really am. And, I was just talking to my son the other day. I was like, your daddy was a troublemaker. My stepdad was abusive, and I really acted out, and I hung out with the bad crowd. And, I was hanging out with literal bloods that wanted to jump me into the bloods. And, luckily daddy never did things like that, but he's like asking me, what was it like when you were in high school? And I'm like, well, I've gotten a lot of fights. I was not liked by a lot of people. I hung out with all the hood kids. Like I went, and then I moved to like an all white school and still hung out with the two hood kids that were there with me. Like it was, like I was like, daddy came from a rough background. That's why we work so hard to make sure that you don't have to go through that ever in your life. But it's one of those things where it's almost like, what can his mom say about me when I tell him all my wrongdoings that I've done? When I speak very openly with him, I've never lied to him. I, like I just it. My kids know me for who I am more than anybody, and the best part about being a parent isn't teaching them; it's what I learn from them. And
Right.
like for instance, a recent example of something I learned from my kids. My daughter loves Taylor Swift. Love. She's a diehard Swiftie. So's her mom. I hate Taylor Swift, but I would make that known to my daughter, and it almost made it seem like she felt ashamed to listen to Taylor Swift. So I one day we were hanging out. She's like, I was like, "What do you want to listen to?" She's like, I don't know. Like, you can listen to whatever you want. I said, "Okay," and I put on Taylor Swift. And she's like, "Why do you listen to this? You hate Taylor Swift." I said, "Yeah, but it's okay that you like her, and there's music that I listen to that you probably don't like, and there's music that you listen to that I probably won't like. It's okay. There was music when I was growing up that my parents hated. So I don't want you to ever feel ashamed for something that you like because you like it. I want you to love it as much as you want to love it." And it's just like, it made me go back to how many times I've been like, "Oh, you listen to Drake? What the hell? That's such shitty music. Why would you listen to Drake?" And then my buddy like forced me to listen to Drake. All of a sudden, I'm at a Drake concert working security, and I'm singing along to every single word of the song, every single song. And I'm like, am I a Drake fan? So it made me think of all the times I've hated on other people's music and made them feel ashamed for the music they like, even though music is so subjective and we all love different things. Like,
Yeah.
and then it made me go back to like food. Like, maybe I've shamed people the wrong way for food they're eating. I need to go a different route around it so they don't feel ashamed around me. They feel like empowered to ask me questions instead.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like that's the best part about parenting. It's taught me so much about my business. It's taught me so much about me as a man. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yes. It's amazing. Yes. And we can always apply that to everything in our lives,
Yep.
um, because, parenting is a lot like your health. It's a parent of how your lifestyle can be. Um, and there's always room for progress because there's no perfection. All it is it's progress. And, we can reach for the cookies or we can reach for, the herbs. And there's just always room for progress. But, to come back full circle, your plate is so full. I mean, now you have a new baby and, you have work and your lifestyle and then your practice. How do you keep your own energy up and how do you maintain your own balance, boundaries to keep you on track while you're serving others?
It's something I'm working on every day still. Realistically, I sacrifice, and this is so bad, I sacrifice sleep to make sure I get everything done, right? I don't want to come home from work at 6 p.m. and then work on my business until my daughter goes to bed and then say, oh, good night, go to bed. So I come home, I play with my daughter, I lay down with her till she falls asleep, and then I get up and I start working on things. And it's just something I have to balance out until I can get out of my job. Once I'm out of my job, things become exponentially easier because then I could take 7 a.m., 8 a.m. appointments, 9 a.m., finish them early in the day or at night when she's in bed and not have to worry about that pressure of like, I need to spend an hour with my daughter today or I'm not going to see her at all, and,
Mhm.
and that's really, really hard for me because sometimes when I'm in those moments with her, I'm thinking about what I need to do and
Mhm.
it's weighing on me and I know what I'm doing. It's a ebb and flow, right? Because it's like what I'm working on is for her, right? Like I'm building a future for her and a good foundation for her so she has the
Mhm.
opportunities I did not. But at the same thing, I need to spend the time with my daughter because the time is worth more than anything I can build over on this side. So it's like I have a constant battle in my head. And sometimes I do a bad job of taking care of myself. Example, right? I was in I before the hospital, I was probably in the best shape of my life. March 18th, my 35th birthday. I woke up that morning and said, wow, 35-year-old Adam could take 25-year-old Adam any day of the week. Like it's not even close. And then the next day I wake up and at 8:30 in the morning I have a life-changing accident. And
Oh boy.
you know, it it really like took me off of my taking care of myself path much besides, just taking it easy and healing. That's how I took care of myself. So I was 185 pounds before my accident, just looking solid, looking happy
Mhm.
in my body for the first time in my life. I get out of the hospital and I'm 170
Oh.
because they kept having me in. I was in for 6 days. So I lost about 15 pounds in 6 days. Then what they were eating was bothering me so much that I took it all down. And
Yeah.
these pills, and I'm just so I finally, probably a month and a half, beginning of May and April, I get back to 180. It's an accomplishment. I got to make sure this isn't like unhealthy weight going on me, but it's an accomplishment that I got back to that.
Sure.
Then we have the baby.
Mhm.
Fortunately, my fiance had some complications. Um, mainly for herself. She's good now. Everything. In the beginning, it was really hard. I'm trying to, for all extensive purposes, my daughter is the only child. I only have my son the other weekend. So that's all of our attention.
Yeah.
The baby's coming. It's exciting. You're ready to have a baby. It's so cool. And then the baby was born and she didn't want anything to do with him for like the first couple of days.
Yeah.
And for me, I was like confused. I'm like, wait a second. She was so excited. Like I was like crying over it. I'm like, I don't get it. Like she was supposed to be excited. So now I'm like making time with my daughter, letting her stay up later so we can do things together and doing things we would never do. Like mom's like, it's time for bed. She's like, but I want to swim. I said, let's go swimming. You know, like just doing things, taking care of mom. Like she literally she was bedridden for 8-9 days, you know. So
Right.
I literally had to make a toilet out of a bucket in the room for her because she couldn't get to the bathroom. Like, bucket, making sure she's good, changing the baby, taking care of my dog. And then I was down to 170 pounds again a few days ago.
Yeah.
And just like that, in like a week and a half, I lost 10 pounds just because I literally did nothing for myself for 10 days. Like it was just, I had to do everything. I had to make sure the house is clean. I had to make sure, you know, when guests are coming, I'm accommodating them, getting food in here, making sure they've done all this stuff that I don't do. I am very, 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 very lucky to have a woman that's mostly a stay-at-home mom. She takes care of the household. Obviously, I help her whenever it's needed, you know, like
Right.
dinner, but I don't take care of the household. You know, I take care of the money. I take care of the yard. She keeps the household in beautiful order. You know, like people come, they're like, "Oh, the aesthetic of your place is so nice. It's so nice." I'm like, "Me at all. That's all Courtney." So like, you got finding that balance. It goes on, it goes off, but for me, when I go off balance, it's such a drastic change. You know, for me, when I saw 132 pounds, it was like depressing because it was like, I haven't weighed this since 8th grade.
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to be a full grown man weighing 132 pounds, being 5'8". Like I'm just not. I could see, like, even in pictures, like I literally look like I'm on heroin. Like I look like heroin. I'm all sunken in and like you can see bones puffed, like everything. And now it almost caused this like mental thing in my head where like I'm like, oh no, I lost weight. You know, like a couple pounds, your body varies within, you know, 5 to 7 pounds a day. I don't care about that. But when I'm dropping 15 pounds, 10 pounds in a couple days, I'm like, uh-oh. Like, and then, you know, it was at the point I didn't tell my girl for a couple days, and then I was like, yeah, I lost some weight. She's like, yeah, you were looking skinnier. Are you okay? I was like, yeah, I just haven't really been taking care of me. And she's like, well, take care of you, stupid. Like you have to do, like need you to be full energy to take care of us. Like reminding me, like, did you eat? Did you eat? Have you eaten yet? You know, like making sure that I'm good. So luckily I have a partner that when I tell her something, you know, I'll tell her, oh, I've been having stomach issues lately, and then she'll see me eating cookies at night and be like, hello.
Yeah, making you accountable. Exactly. Yes.
She keeps me on track, and I'm again so blessed because she cooks me amazing. I never have to worry about like, oh, what garbage is in this meal. It's amazing. And we're even like, her mom has stopped using vegetable oil. My dad has stopped using vegetable oil. My mom will not listen to anything I have to say ever because she's a nurse and knows everything. But we're starting to get the people around us that cook for us to use oils that don't inflame us. Like I was over my dad's house and my stepmom's from Guatemala. She makes pupusas all the time. My favorite food in the world, pupusas. I love them so much. And she would, you know, fry them in canola oil. And one day I was over there, I ate one. I wasn't even halfway through and I started getting heartburn. And I don't get heartburn much. She's like, oh, Adam, you want the Tums? I said, no, I don't want Tums. She's like, why? This is what you take for heartburn. I said, Hilda, no. Like when you take Tums too much, it actually makes your stomach acid low and then it could cause more heartburn. It's like a money-making thing for them. And I did end up taking one just because it was so bad. It's like burning. I almost threw up. And after that day, my sister went over there too and saw her using canola oil because I got my sister to switch too. And she said it to my dad and my stepmom, and they were like, okay. So now both of our kids are coming to us and saying that we need to stop using this. Let's stop using this. What do we buy? You know, and now they're doing it. And
Good.
that's what this all is all about. You know, like small changes lead to big changes, baby.
Yes, exactly. It's a work in progress. Absolutely. Okay, so I have 3 questions to ask you.
Okay.
Okay, so let's see. Question number 1. What is one powerful shift people can make today to start feeling more in balance? And if you could speak to your younger self, what would you say?
Hmm. So for balance, it's a lot of what we talked about already. You know, movement is so important to your body. Your lymphatic drainage in your body and your whole lymphatic system needs movement of some sort. I'm not telling you you have to go work out at the gym every day. I'm not telling you you have to go run a marathon, but get outside, do some yoga, do an at-home workout, you know, like go for a walk after dinner. Like there's so many things you could do to get your body moving instead of plopping right in front of the TV. Movement, water, sun, breath. Like those 4 things, you could change your whole life by just doing breathing exercises because so many of us don't breathe right. My my son included, he's a mouth breather. I'm trying to train him like, dude, your whole face is gonna form. You got to start breathing through your nose. And like I'm just trying, and he gets and frog. He gets anxiety attacks, and his mom has him convinced that they're asthma attacks. And
Big difference.
big difference, right? Like I will sit with him, and in the beginning, you know, I would give him his inhaler, and then I would look at him, and I'm like, he's breathing, but he's telling me he's not breathing. Like that's how my panic attacks feel.
Right.
Okay, let me do my breathing with him. I said, okay, Owen, I want you to breathe in as deep as you can. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I said, okay, you just breathe in deep there. Good. He's like, no, I can't breathe. No, I can't breathe. I'm like, I'm watching your stomach go up and down right now. I was like, so just me breathing, and I'll just sit next to him and then, you know, it'll be 5 grueling minutes in. And, you know, as a parent, you want to just be like, here, take the inhaler. That's got to be it. And I'm like, we're 5 minutes in. He's not turning blue. His hands aren't cold. His feet aren't cold. So he's getting breath.
Yeah.
So then I'm working through it. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Sometimes it would be 10 minutes in.
Yeah.
I can't breathe. I can't breathe. And at that point, as my son got older doing this, I'd be like, buddy, it's been 10 minutes. Unless you're a superhuman who can hold their breath for more than anybody's ever held their breath ever, you would literally be dead, dude. You're breathing. I promise you, you're breathing. I've been watching you for 10 minutes, shallow breathing. You need to breathe into your belly. And then, like, look at me, breathe, drink some water, breathe. And, like, just that little bit goes from, like, on 10, having a full panic attack to not. And now it's gotten to the point where he's using his inhaler less at home. When he'll let me know if he really needs help, and I can hear it too. I can hear him having trouble, but sometimes I hear him having trouble, and then I hear him breathing, like breath exercises, and I'm like, yes. Like I had this. The only reason I knew that, Tag, is because I went through the same thing. My mom put me on an inhaler. My dad swore up and down I don't have asthma. My mom, it was the easy way out. She gave me the inhaler. My dad took me off it when I lived with him. And then I still had these like weird panic attack type of things that they call asthma attacks all the time. I moved to my mom's when I was 10, almost 11, and my grandmother was living with us for a little bit. And she was sleeping in the lower bunk. I was in the upper bunk. And she heard me one night having a panic attack. And she's like, "Are you okay, sweetie?" And I said, like, I'm like crying, not breathing. She's like, "Okay, here's what I want you to do. this is what I do to put myself to sleep every night because I get anxiety. And that was the first time I had heard that word, anxiety. And she says, I want you to breathe in as deep as you can and then count down from 100. And I want you to say 100, 100, 100, 100, 100, 100, 100, 100, 100 in your head. 99, 99, 99, 99. So like you can't think anything else. You're flooding your brain with the number 100, 100, 100. So like my brain is so messed up and active that even when I'm having these, it still happens current day, not often, but it happens. Where I'm counting and literally I'm trying to force thoughts into there. Like, no, we need the doubt. We need the doubt. We need to have the anxiety. You know, like, and I'm like 100, 100, but what if we die? 100, 100, you know?
Yes.
It was just like one of the most useful exercises anybody ever showed me. The first time I ever passively learned about breath work. My grandmother had no clue what breath work was, but she had this breath exercise to help her with anxiety. And it was like, there was so many points in my life. I remember on my 23rd birthday, I was living in Wyoming. My girlfriend, a couple days before, had broken up with me and stole everything from the house. Like I came home to an empty house. And I remember I opened the fridge, it was empty. I opened the freezer, it was empty, but there was a corn dog box in there. And I was like, she left the corn dogs. Like I was like, oh, there's one glimmer. And I opened the box and it was empty.
Oh.
And I was like, oh. And then a few days later, it was my 23rd birthday, and I'm by myself. Don't really have any friends in this small town that I moved to. I had got caught up with some alleged legal stuff, so I was laying low from the people that I did know. And I bought myself a birthday cake. I just remember being so depressed, and I had a full-blown panic attack, like crying over this box cake that I lit one candle and sang myself happy birthday to, and then I put a gun to my head that night.
Oh my gosh.
And I remember just like during the panic attack, like remembering my breath work, and I like just breathe, and I walked to the train tracks, and I just like sat on the train tracks. I was like, if something comes, something comes. I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. And then I just like put my gun away, walked it back to my house, took another walk, breathed a little more, and then just thank God, didn't pull the trigger. But it was just one of those things where that small breath change can change so many people's lives. I know so many people suffer with anxiety attacks, and yeah. But going to your second question, what would I tell my younger self?
Yeah.
The first thing,
I forgot part of that question on your healing journey. What would you tell? Yes.
I was going to say what I would tell my younger self is buy Bitcoin in 2011 when I could have bought it. But this, aside from that, I mean, just telling my younger self when I started doing that diet log to really like trust my intuition. You're right. You're totally right. Like the Pop-Tarts you're eating are causing your pain, Adam. The Mountain Dew you're drinking is causing your pain, Adam. And I could have avoided hospital trips. I could have avoided, losing weight because I was having bad flare-ups. I could have had the body I had in March years ago if I just listened to my intuition, and didn't just eat for pleasure and eat emotionally, like just eat junk food when you're emotional. So that's probably the biggest thing. Like trust yourself. Like you're right.
Yeah. And third question, where can our viewers find you?
So right now the best place to find me is socials. What did Adam say? Everywhere. I do have the Urban Healing socials up on Instagram and Facebook, I believe, right now. I'm gonna make the hell is it called? TikTok for it as well, and then I'm gonna be, very active with content on there pretty soon. I've just been, I went through the imposter syndrome phase for like a couple weeks, and then this baby bubble, so I've been slowed down a little bit, but fire's still there, and I'm ready to get moving, and it's just follow along. I'm gonna be putting out a lot of good content, like free information, like just
Mm-hmm.
things you should be doing in your daily life, things you can replace out of your kitchen. It's going to be a fun journey, and I hope everybody follows along. And it's crazy. All my worlds are converging, right? Like I have
Yeah.
a following from music,
Mm-hmm.
and I allegedly don't do music anymore, even though I have like 40 songs in the cut right now. I have people still on there from that. And then I had the whole cannabis industry on top of that. And now I'm starting to get like the holistic healing community on top of that. And it's just my socials are starting to feel like a powerhouse. There's been people that have been on my socials for 15 years back in music. A couple of them were like my test clients. So, you know, I'm just excited for what's coming.
Good. Good. I'm glad to hear that. You should be patting yourself on the back, giving yourself a big hug because I mean, look at you now. I mean, look at you now. You have a beautiful family, um, a great network of people that have supported you along your journey and your practice and all the accomplishments that you've done since Wyoming. I mean, that just a gratitude and appreciation. I mean,
You know what the messed up thing is? You want to know how much of an overthinker I am? When I was in Wyoming, shortly after that incident happened on my birthday, I got into lucid dreaming.
Mm-hmm.
And I practiced for nights. Every night I'd go to sleep. We're going to lucid dream. We're going to control our dreams. We're going to control our dreams. We're going to control our dreams. One night, I sat up on my air mattress, which was like the only thing that was in my little house that I went and bought from Walmart. And I went, oh, stood up, turned around, and saw myself laying down and went,
Yeah.
I've probably had a handful of dreams since then. And sometimes I think that I am in my lucid dream. And one day I'm going to wake up in that shitty little house in Wyoming. It's my biggest fear in life, Tag. Like one day I'm going to be on my deathbed and it's going to go. And I'm going to go, what the fuck? Like, what kind of dream was that? And then I'm going to buy Bitcoin immediately. And
Then your path is already laid out in front of you because you already know what you got to do, so life should be easy from that point on.
Yeah. It's like stop eating like shit right now, get into cannabis right now before it's legal, get into holistic healing right now. Like, do all this right now. You'll be rich in a few years, and then go find this girl named Courtney Nichols in time and go marry her because she's worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. I have that too sometimes. I mean, sometimes I wake up and think that I'm going to be this 7-year-old girl again whose body has failed her, and stuck in a hospital bed, can't walk, can't swallow, can't open her eyes, And sometimes I think I'm just, so grateful that I was able to experience the school of hard knocks that I've had to go through to get to this point because it just made me so much stronger, so much better that had I not been that little girl. So I get it. I totally get it. And it gave me that thick skin to just rise, instead of absorbing it all and just being in 1,000 pieces. So, yeah,
So
life.
here's hoping this isn't all just a dream for me, Tag. Hopefully you are totally real. I said that to one of my friends once. He's like, bro, that's like the most egotistical thing you've ever said. I said, what? He's like, so you're telling me that your dream dreamed up me? Like it figured me out? Like I'm just here in your dream? Like, bro, come on.
Oh, yeah, I mean, yeah,
It's possible. I
it's,
used to write stories when I was a kid, like
Mhm.
chapters and chapters and chapters and go on and And it scares me because, like, as a child, I had vivid dreams, continuous dreams, like they would continue for nights and nights and nights, and I don't dream anymore. It's like the weirdest thing. And
oh God, I do.
I don't. I can remember, okay, I've had 3 dreams in the past couple years, and all 3 of them are the same. I wake up in jail, I'm doing jail stuff, and then I go outside, and it's my work. There's a bunch of campers there.
Work. I just want to tell you something.
This place is a prison. And then the only other dream I can remember in the past since my lucid dream, we're talking 12 years, Tagg. 12 years. I remember 4 dreams. 3 of them I'm at work and it's jail. One of them, I was on my girl's mom's back deck, and she has a driveway going up the side of the thing, and there was a bunch of Black Hawk helicopters that flew over, and then you hear marching soldiers, and they come up up her driveway, and then I woke up. So I've only, those are my only dreams I can remember since the day that I woke myself up lucid dreaming, and that's why it scares me to death that I am just dreaming, because, like, I'm not supposed to be here. Like, I'm a college dropout. When I got my son's mom pregnant in 2013, I was sleeping on couch hopping in the projects. I was in literally, like, people on low income housing. I was sleeping on their couch, trying not to be homeless. And then 12 years later, you're telling me that I'm making 6 figures. I'm about to launch a massively successful business. I have the most beautiful family I could ever ask for. The people that are around me as my core people are, motivating to me and encouraging and supportive and all those things. And I don't have to, not eat in front of my kids and have them see the things that I saw as a child. And it's just like, it feels like a dream. It hurts when I pinch, so I'm just hoping it's not. But Tagg, it's this life is, I'm living the dream.
You're living the dream. Yep. You're living the dream. And everybody can, we just got to get out of our own way,
Yeah. That's how I describe microdosing to people. Microdosing for me was getting out of my own way. I knew what I had to do the whole time. It was just me standing there like this. Nah, bro, we're gonna stay with our same shitty old toxic habits for the rest of our life and continue to be self-destructive and push people away. Like, it's like you're facing yourself head on. Even so much so, I remember one night I was fully tripping, and I stared at myself in the mirror for like an hour. My girl, she went upstairs to go to bed, and I wasn't in bed an hour later. And she's like, came downstairs to pee. She's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Have you ever looked at me?" I'm like, to that.
You don't want to answer that question. Yeah. Don't answer that question. Yeah. Well, Adam, I am so grateful that you contacted me and said, "Yeah, I'm ready. Let's do this."
Yeah, sorry it took so long. Things have been upside down a little bit, and they're getting back on track.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no worries. I mean, it unfolded beautifully. So yeah. But I am so happy that you came on the show, and this has been such a great time talking about life and transforming and old and new and just change and development and growth and progress. That's what people need to hear. It can't be this well prepared speech of healing. I mean, it takes real people who went through hell and back, changed their lives. They know firsthand what the people they serve are going through, to be able to walk this path with them and let them know that it's going to be okay. I got you, and it's not about it's not about, oh, you have 13 letters behind your name, or here, pop this pill and instant this and instant that. No, it takes an investment in yourself to say, I'm worth my life,
Yeah.
and people need to hear this, and I'm just trying to spread the word to get it out.
You're doing a good job, Tagg. I like it. I like that you're branching out and doing the podcast. I think it's not comfortable. I do want to point out, however, in the beginning, he said, one day I hope to do 2 to 3 hour conversations and podcasts, and then look at us go. It's 11:15. It's over 2 hours. And you did it. So you don't have to wish anymore. You just got to be and talk to people. Like, I think we had a great conversation. You still answered your questions. Still asked your questions, and don't limit yourself. You're doing great. You have a great personality and an aura about you. So 2-3 hours is nothing.
It's nothing. Well, I'm a work in progress, just like everybody else. So I appreciate your kind words. I really do. It's inspiring, and I'm going to keep it up. Yeah.
Good. I expect way more.
And I know you'll make me accountable too. So if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. And we will catch you next video.